Hello world, welcome to our daily variety show here on Learn TV. My name's Amy Boyd, I'm a cloud advocate at Microsoft and I am joined by my wonderful co-host Adam Jackson. Adam, how are you doing?
Hi Amy, thanks for having me again. Yes, I'm Adam Jackson. I am a product marketing manager at Microsoft in the UK.
Fabulous. And Adam, how's things this week? I'm very jealous of Adam actually because it's a little bit warmer than usual here in the UK. When I do streams like this, I have to close my window and it's a little bit warm. So if I'm a bit shiny, I can only apologise. But Adam has aircon, which is very unusual in the UK. So I'm pretty jealous right now.
I know. It's like the 3 days of the year where it becomes a necessity rather than a luxury. So yeah, glad to have it. Although I'm feeling a bit cold now. Yeah, I know. Should we move on to the agenda?
Yeah, let's get on with the agenda. So in today's 30-minute show, we have 3 different segments. First up, we are going to have File New Project with Scott Hanselman and Sophie, who is a fintech software engineer and TikTok star or enthusiast. So we're excited to see that video first. Then we'll actually move on and we'll be talking a little bit about C#10. And that's actually with Dustin Campbell, who works on the language team. And he's going to give us loads of great information about the language. And then finally, we are actually going to wrap up our segments with Azure Fun Bytes with Jay Gordon. Jay is a friend of the show, especially on a Wednesday. And so we're very, very excited. He gives us a new theme every week and his show is on Learn TV on a Thursday.
Wow, looking forward to it. Shall we move on to the news section?
Yeah, what have you got for us in the news, Adam?
Oh, a few things. It's been a long day for me, actually. I've been up since what feels like the crack of dawn. So yeah, this morning in UK time at least, we had an event called TechDays DevOps 101 for developers. And that was a 2.5-hour show built with friends from Microsoft UK and GitHub UK. It's a completely technical event full of demos and Q&A. And you can watch that on demand at aka.ms/TechDays. But don't forget, all of the links today will end up in the show notes and we'll share the link in a moment. The other news that I've spotted, a couple of things. So first of all, the Azure CTO, Mark Russinovich, announced a new cloud region recently. And it is a new sustainable cloud region. So it's very energy efficient. It's based in Phoenix and it has the very catchy name of West US 3. So for me, it's always really exciting to hear about anything that's environmentally friendly and especially environmentally friendly cloud. But one of the things that made me think about is that, wherever your cloud is in the world, we can all do our bit as developers, as IT professionals to make the cloud that bit greener. And our colleague, Asim Hussain, has put together a sustainable software engineering module on Microsoft Learn. And it's suitable for everyone, whether you're technical or non-technical. And that is at aka.ms/SSE/learn. And again, we'll remind you of that link throughout the show yeah, there we go. aka.ms/hello world has all of the links. So you don't have to remember anything that I've told you. And then one final bit of news before I hand back to Amy. For anyone that's into their gaming, hopefully you saw that there were a ton of Xbox announcements this week. And one of them really excited me. It was Forza Horizon. So Forza Horizon 5 is going to be coming out, I think, this November on Xbox Series X and Series S. And it's going to be set in Mexico. And I really fell in love with Forza Horizon 4 because Forza Horizon 4 is actually set in the UK. And it's also put together by a wonderful game studio called Playground Games, which is based here in the UK. And you can tell that it's based here in the UK because the detail and the things they've picked on about UK roads, absolutely classic, although they missed all of the potholes, unfortunately. But there we go. We're not talking about cars today, are we, Amy? Let's move swiftly on to your news.
Let's move swiftly on and not talk about cars. Yeah, so my 2 pieces of news are, Laurent did mention it yesterday. I feel like it's worthy for another couple of minutes of a Hello World show today. And that is joining us on Thursday, the 24th of June at midday Pacific time on Learn TV, where you will see what's next for Windows and developers right here on Learn TV. So if you want to hear the latest and greatest of Windows, do join in. If you go to Microsoft.com patreon.com/windows/event. Again, all in the show notes for today. You can actually get a really friendly calendar reminder. I feel like all I ever do is talk about calendar reminders on Hello World, but there's so much going on that I always need it in my calendar. Otherwise, I'll never get around to doing it. So definitely go ahead and take a look at that. And then my next piece of news is a little bit more of a personal one. So I tend to go to news.microsoft.com, and it just shows the sheer size and variety of different things that Microsoft covers, from data centers, Adam, like you mentioned, all the way to what our customers are doing. And then all the way, stranger, I saw a picture and I was like, is that Peter Rabbit? So Peter Rabbit is a childhood storybook that I was quite a fan of, but also I got to see my niece this weekend. She told me that she very much enjoyed the Peter Rabbit films, the new animation films. And interestingly, there is a story there around Peter Rabbit 2 director makes the most of his Surface devices. And he basically shows himself using the Surface Studio, how they use it on the set, how they have like the animated characters and stuff like that. It's a lovely video. Go check it out. It just shows how technology is really everywhere nowadays, and also very interesting to see how technology has been used during films as well.
Wonderful.
And so with that, that's all my news, Adam.
Yeah, well, I was going to say I need a Surface Studio as well, but anyway, we'll ask for that elsewhere via the official routes. Do not forget, all of the show notes from today, and indeed all of our Hello World episodes, are at aka.ms/Hello World. There is the link at the bottom of the screen. And don't forget to message us in the live chat. We have live chat. Please drop us a line if you've got any questions today. But up first today, we have our File New Project segment. This is an exciting segment with Scott Hanselman. And today, his guest is Sophie. She's a fintech software engineer and a TikTok star. So let's roll the video.
Hey friends, I'm Scott Hanselman, and this is File New Project. I am talking with Sophie. She's a fintech software engineer, and she has amazing TikToks at Life by Sophie. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
I noticed yesterday on TikTok you were hosting a live, and you had dozens and dozens of people who are interacting with you live on TikTok, and you're answering their questions. Why are you so generous with your time? You could be doing other stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So I graduated from UCI with a degree in computer science and engineering. With that being said, I'm no stranger to the adversities that are present in the STEM field. And I want to kind of act as that person that cultivates a community where people feel open and comfortable to ask their questions. And I'm very aware that I have a lot to learn, but I think it's so important to lift others as you rise, especially for underrepresented, historically underrepresented groups. And so that's mainly why I'm doing it. And I just want to be able to provide free coding resources that are available, accessible, because I think everyone should have access and be exposed to it.
Do you think that your message is being heard? Have you had people reach out and tell you that it was meaningful, that they saw your TikToks?
I do have a few people that comment and say, hey, you got me into coding, or I downloaded this app and it was super helpful. So I definitely think that the message is being well received, and it makes it all worth it for sure.
Now, you're doing this in your spare time, right? You have a full-time job. You're a full-time software engineer working in finance, and you could be spending other time doing other things. Are you thinking about doing even more extracurriculars?
Yeah, so I do have a full-time job, but it's something that I'm passionate about, and I want to serve as that role model to show, especially Black girls, Afro-Latinas, that, I did it, you can do it, there's nothing stopping you. I'm working on, hopefully, maybe soon, having a podcast and just providing more resources, lending my platform or creating a platform where I can help voice others' opinions and things that they're going through, and kind of just get a great community of diversity within code and technology.
Did you have someone in your life, or a teacher or a professor, who looked like you, and was it important that they looked like you, and did that change the direction of your life?
Absolutely. My first year of college, I actually was introduced to Black woman, the first person that I'd ever met who has a PhD in computer engineering. And when I saw her, my jaw dropped, and that was my light bulb moment. I said, if she can do it, I can do stopping me from doing it. And so I want to be that person for someone else because it's only right.
So you think that people are scrolling by the For Your page on TikTok, and then they see algorithms and data science, and they see Life by Sophie, and then you're explaining, how to, I don't know, sort a height balanced tree or something, and you're like, she's super smart. I want to learn all about this thing now.
Honestly, I just think that I try and make it, I don't think everyone has to pursue a career in STEM, but I do think at the very least it's important that they're exposed to what is going behind all the technology that they're interacting with, right? Being an informed and smart user is so important. And so even if that's doing a 5-minute challenge daily for an app that I suggest, it makes the biggest difference, I think.
It sounds like you really advocate for, forward motion, that you think that some people may feel stuck or be stuck. And I found in my interactions on TikTok that a lot of people are on TikTok scrolling late at night because they feel like they're not moving forward in life, and you're pushing them forward.
Yeah, because I think everyone, especially for STEM, people need to be encouraged to go into STEM. There's this stigma that it's so hard and that, you have to fit a certain stereotype or a certain you have to be great at math in order to go into STEM. It's not true. If you have grit, you have hard work, and you are willing to learn, then it's all yours. And I want to be that person to say, I did it. You can do it. There's nothing stopping you. And so if you're interested, if you have even the least bit of interest in STEM or code, go for it. And I'm here to point you in the right direction.
That's fantastic. So you can find Sophie everywhere online, whether it be Instagram or TikTok, at Life by Sophie. And I'm looking forward to your upcoming podcast, because now that we've put it out into the universe, it's going to happen.
Thank you so much. Yes, definitely. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for chatting with us. This has been File New Project.
Oh, that was so nice. Doesn't Sophie do such a wonderful job? Maybe I should be scrolling less on TikTok after that.
Yeah, really inspiring story.
Fabulous. Well, up next, we have Dustin Campbell, who is helping design C# 10. So Dustin, welcome to the Hello World show. Oh, that was Adam, but we always love to have Adam on the screen. Dustin, are you there? There we go. Hi, Dustin. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Great.
I'm actually in the office. This is a conference room, so I'm actually at the office, it feels great.
This is very, very exciting news. I hope you have a wonderful day back in the office over there in America. Also, though, speaking of, you're at a Microsoft office. So tell us who you are and what you do at Microsoft.
Well, as you said, my name's Dustin Campbell. I'm kind of a man behind the scenes, we'll say, man behind the curtain. I work as an architect in developer experiences for .NET. And so that includes wearing a lot of different hats and working on a lot of different technologies. And one of those is that I get the distinct pleasure of working with several of my delightful colleagues on the C# language and designing the language itself.
Amazing. Oh my goodness. And I guess let's get straight in there. Is C# 10 released? Is it there?
No.
Is it happening?
No. I mean, what is released today?
What is released anymore?
Everything's in preview. We build the language more incrementally these days, right, as we build it we introduce features over time and we want to get feedback on them. And so we introduce them under a preview flag. So in the current latest versions of Visual Studio, there are some C# 10 features making their way in, and it will ship as the full C# 10 suite of features with .NET 6, which is slated for this fall. So later this fall.
Wonderful. Oh no, that's really exciting, and this is obviously, on my side, this is very unusual. Meeting someone who actually works on the language creation. Like, I've always been on the learning side. Like, I will learn a language and use it. But the idea that there is those roles out there that is actually to continue the progression of these languages that we use, and that they become the bread and butter of everything that we do. So first of all, Dustin, thank you for the hard work that you do. But also, tell us more. What are some of the big ideas in C# 10? You mentioned some of them might be creeping through in preview.
Yeah, and thank you, Amy. I think also, as you mentioned, that languages are these very important kind of foundational things, and it's because they're how you express yourself. When you're interacting with these machines and these programs and these things we build, this technology, and so with C#10, our big ideas are, well, we want to make it so that you can express yourself even better, always. And so we're looking at things features to reduce boilerplate. We've been doing this for the last couple of releases, but just trying to figure out ways to get fewer curly braces in your code and fewer kind of required ceremony in your code. So there's a number of features around that. There are features around sort of making it easier to use features we've introduced previously. So in C#9, we introduced records, and we've got a number of features in C#10 that just make those easier to use, easier to express yourself with, so that you can solve more problems with them. And then finally, we try and go after like some big space, something that moves things forward, maybe changes how you might even architect a program, how you might decide, how you're gonna solve the problem that you're trying to solve. And one of the big ones we're looking at in C#10 right now is around statics and interfaces. So I could have an interface that includes static members, and I can implement on a class, and it would require that class then actually implement those static members as well. And we can use this for things like numeric libraries and all sorts of interesting sorts of ways of kind of constructing a program. And it's one of these things also that we've had requests for years and years, and only in recent years with later versions of .NET, as we move on the core CLR and we have side-by-side .NET, that we're able to take more advantage of changes in the runtime that are required for us to be able to do these sorts of things. And so this is one we're kind of going after in this release, which is really exciting.
Fabulous. Love that you talk about, those product requests that people make, these communities that build around a lot of the technology that Microsoft and many other providers build. Speaking of which, C# all designed out in the open? Is that right? How does it all work? Where does the repo live? What is it about?
So it's on GitHub in github.com/.net/C#lang, where we do C# language design. That's where we post notes from our C# language design meetings. We have we still have a body of folks that kind of are kind of the stewards of the language, and then the community engages with us. They can make proposals. They can even provide implementations and of language features and that we'll consider and take into the product. So the way it works is that there are members of the C# team that work as champions, and they can champion various features after there's been a lot of community discussion, and we can continue to get feedback and iterate on designs. It's a super exciting place to go. If you're a language nerd, that is a great place to be.
Love that. Good call out. Speaking of being one of the language developers, so being one of those people that's very, very active in that space, what are some of your best moments? Like, what are some of the things that you go, oh my goodness, I can't believe I do this?
No, those best moments are always when there's something that's been contentious or it's been eluding us, some design that is hard. There are always trade-offs, pros and cons, and we get into debates about what's best. And when we come to that consensus and we find the golden thing, maybe it's because we were just smarter and we needed in our future selves, and we needed time for our future selves to arrive. And in those moments I think are the most exciting and satisfying. And then when you use it later and go, this is exactly what we needed to do. I'm so glad we came up with a solution. All those moments. There are too many to really name here.
Oh, love that. Your future self. That's such a good way to think about it. Your future self will know this. It's fine. Speaking of community, and obviously lots of people sort of collaborating together to make this happen. We know what we get like in the language space. Is it spaces or tabs? And we all know what we're talking about there. Are there any other arguments that are happening at the moment?
I think the most recent argument in memory was around null parameter checking, which is a feature we're adding so that it can, remove boilerplate, so it'll throw null argument exceptions for you if you mark it a parameter. And we went back and forth forever on the syntax for that, whether it should be bang or a checked keyword that we already had in the language. And we ended up going with double bang. So you say bang bang, and it will make that it will throw a null reference exception, a null argument exception for you.
Oh, wonderful. Also, immediately thought of many a pop reference. Maybe there is a meme in there somewhere. But on the note of memes, thank you so much, Dustin. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the Hello World show. We just don't, unfortunately, have enough time. But as Dustin said, there are some great links you can go to. We'll pop them in our show notes for you. And also follow Dustin on Twitter, and we will chat to him at the end. Let's bring Adam back on. Adam, what do you think from the segment from Dustin? So interesting, right?
It's it's great hearing about other people that work in Microsoft that do a job which is so different from my job. I mean, obviously, I speak to developers every day, but this is someone actually building a programming language. Wow, it's amazing for me just to think that like I'm amongst people like that. So yeah, great to hear about that. But anyway, we must move on. And up next, we have our regular Azure Fun Bytes section with Jay Gordon. Hi, Jay. Welcome back to Hello World. What have you got for us this week?
Welcome back indeed. Thank you so much, Adam, for having me. And I want to wish all of my fellow Star Trek fans, from my little buddy Locutus here, a very, very happy Captain Picard Day. Please celebrate and observe if you can. So Azure Fun Bytes, we get together every week right here in the lovely borough of Brooklyn here in New York City, home of your Brooklyn Nets, where we talk about different services, different products, and even complementary products. Like last week, we talked about OpenShift, but all the things that come together to give you an amazing experience using Azure.
But it's not just about Brooklyn, is it, Jay? I mean, we'd like it to be all be about Brooklyn, but Hello World, Azure Fun Bytes is a global show, isn't it? You bring people together from around the world, and also you're on at global times as well. What time are you on this week?
Every week we get together, but this week we're going to be on at a different time. It'll be 1 p.m. in the Pacific. It'll be 4 p.m. here in Brooklyn, East Coast. And then I believe that's 9 o'clock British summertime.
Worth staying up for, I would say. And what about this week's topic? What have you got for us this week on Azure Fun Bytes?
Yeah, so this week we're going to talk about Azure Logic Apps, which I know, Adam, is near and dear to your heart because it's one of those services that helps just about everyone make use of all these integration services that are available with Azure. So you don't even need to learn how to code to be able to use this service. I think it's really strong. So it's a cloud-based platform for creating and running automated workflows. So you can do things like schedule and send email notifications from Office 365 when, say, like a specific event happens or a new file gets uploaded to a storage blob. You can route and process customer orders on-premises systems and in cloud servers. You can move uploaded files from like SFTP and FTP to Azure storage, like a storage blob. And then you can even monitor tweets and analyze them for sentiment.
Well, I love this because Azure Logic Apps is actually one of the things that I use on a regular basis, and I've actually genuinely solved business problems with it. So, I definitely think it's something that everyone can use, and you don't even need to be a developer or an experienced IT professional. Jay, why don't you give us a quick demo of Logic Apps so we can see how it's done?
Sure. Let's bring up the demo. Cool. So I'm going to go into my regular Azure portal. I'm going to add a resource. We can go to the integration resource and then click create on Logic App, which is right at the top. And so when we get here, we're going to do some of the typical Azure things. We're going to create a resource group, and I'm just going to call it Logic App J. And if you don't know what a resource group is, it's a place to keep your resources. A Logic App name, we're just going to give it an identifier. We can then select where it's going to be living. East US because, Brooklyn, what can I tell you? And we got some extra parameters we can set, but we're not going to do it. We're just going to use default. We'll hit review and create, and then it'll go through the typical Azure Resource Manager process of creating our resource. And once our resource is deployed, we get this kind of blank slate. And so we'll go into our blank slate and we'll kind of take a look that one of the cool things is that this service comes with a lot of defaults, a lot of ready-to-use templates so that you can go in and do these different types of actions. So I want to create new tweets. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a connection between my Twitter account and Logic Apps. And now when a new tweet is posted with the text AFB in it, what can I do? I can look at the times and when we're going to start it. We can then do another step. So we can do a condition that says every single time somebody posts, we can do one of these actions. And in this case, I'll post a new tweet and my parameter, I'll just add something and then I can run it. I'll run the trigger and it'll eventually allow me to then access my created resource, or I should say my created trigger and the output that comes from it.
That's absolutely awesome. And I'm going to be tweeting you now, AFB, see what happens. But anyway, moving on. So you always have a guest on Azure Fun Bytes. So who's the special person this week that's joining you?
Well, I want them to introduce themselves. So let's go to the videotape.
This week on Azure Fun Bytes, join me, Chloe Condon, as I discuss Azure Logic Apps with Jay. We'll create a bot, chat, take your questions, and more. Watch on Learn TV this Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Ain't she great?
She is absolutely amazing. She's like literally one of my favorite cloud advocates, including yourself and Amy, of course, as well, and Dean, who's not here this week. But
well, Chloe is, she brings so much energy, so much information. Her and I are going to talk about reviewing the different ways you can create bots using these tools. We'll show off some of her favorite bot examples. I know she's got like a Shania Twain bot that says, "Let's go girls." We'll create our own bot together, and then we'll actually discuss ethical bot creation, which I think is really important because we want to cover the questions developers really need to ask themselves before building them and making sure that they're not harmful or abusive.
Amazing. Well, I cannot wait. I'm genuinely actually going to tune into that tomorrow at 9 p.m. my time. But just for everyone else, if you're not in the UK, what time is it?
Sure. 1 p.m. on the West and Pacific time, 4 p.m. on the East Eastern time, and then 9 p.m. British Summer Time, where Adam lays his head every night.
Absolutely. And that's here on Learn TV, and that's tomorrow. So, Jay, thank you so much.
No
and
problem.
We're going to bring you back in just a second, but let's bring Amy back just now.
Hey, Adam. Oh, another good segment from Jay. Logic Apps, interesting one. I do love using Logic Apps, which is great. So I might tune in.
Such good fun. So let's just recap the show quickly. So we started off with the File New Project segment, and that was with Scott and with Sophie, who is a TikTok star and a fintech engineer. And then we had the C# 10 Stories with Dustin Campbell. Dustin, thank you so much for being part of our show today. Your first appearance on Hello World, hopefully one of many in the future. Thanks for being with us. And
Thanks.
Thank you. And then we had Azure Fun Bytes with Jay, and let's bring Jay back as well. Jay, good to see you again. Hey.
Hey, thank you very much for having it. Remember, check out Azure Fun Bytes. It's tomorrow. It's 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern.
And 9 p.m. in the UK. Over to you, Amy.
Wonderful. Well, unfortunately, we will have to close up there. It's been a wonderful show. There was only a cast of 4 on this one, but it just shows the content is so key, and we had such a good time chatting with Dustin and Jay, and also me and Adam sharing some of the highlights we found. But with that, thank you to you all. Thank you for joining us today. As well as tomorrow, Frank and Nitya will be back, and we'll be hosting Hello World for us here on Learn TV, same time every day. And without further ado, next up on Learn TV, oh, Dustin, you'll love this one. You should stay tuned. It's C# language highlights, nullable reference types. So don't touch that button. Stay on Learn TV. That's all from us. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Stay tuned. See you soon.
Let's go Nets.
Thank-